Alright, this time in the Quick Speed Shop, I'm going to give you the story of how I built my 1929 Ford Model A truck for $4,000 in the kitchen of my old house. Alright, so let's go back to 2005. Rat rods are hot, and I wanted to build a down and dirty hot rod slash rat rod. I had this DVD with Ian Russell in it, where he built a cool 27-ish Model T roadster pickup on a Model A chassis with a suicide front end with a small block Ford. I said, I want to build something cool like that. I want a down and dirty, flat black patina, freaking in the dirt hot rod, something I can get in and drive and have fun. I started with bits and pieces, and I built it one piece at a time, just like the Johnny Cash song. I started with the remnants of a 1929 Ford AA 1.5-ton truck cab. I pretty much had the cowl, and that was about it. And I built this whole thing from the doors back from scratch, built the chassis from scratch, the whole drivetrain, put it all together. But here's what I started with. I didn't have a chassis, but I had some 2x4s, and I had a dumpy ass house I lived in, so I ripped some cabinets out of the kitchen. The landlord lived two states away. It was fine. She didn't know what was going on, and I paid the rent every month. She didn't know what was going on. I laid out rubber mats in the kitchen, and I started building this truck. I went out, I got some 2x4s, I built a mock-up chassis. And then I went to my friend's house. I built a tube chassis out of 2x4 rectangular steel tubing. I did a suicide front end. I did a parallel leaf rear end. I used trailer springs because they're short enough to fit my application. They're too stiff, don't use them on your cars, but I use parallel trailer springs. I used the rear end out of an 84 AMC Eagle with a twin grip differential, 273 gears. The front axle, I didn't have any I-beam action like this, like I got now. And I didn't really know where to find the parts, but as a junkyard scrounger and I knew AMC and Jeep parts, I pulled a tube axle out of a 1992 Jeep Comanche two-wheel drive pickup. They had brakes in the whole 9 yards for $75. I turned it around so the steering arms are in the back. I welded on some brackets. I used a Posey's spring. I did a suicide front end, and I hung that whole Jeep tube axle right out front with the knuckles and the whole 9 yards, and had a rolling chassis. I didn't have an engine, but somebody I knew had a free small block Chevy. Right here, a 66 283 small block Chevy. I went and I got it. I pulled the heads off, had those rebuilt. I put a CB3 Edelbrock intake on it, an Edelbrock 500 CFM carburetor, some Cal Custom valve covers. Originally I had 35 Ford fender well exit headers on here with stainless steel side pipes I built out of scrap tubing. Went to the pick and pull. I pulled an AMC Spirit drive shaft and T4 transmission with an AMC Iron Duke bell housing, which is a Chevy bolt pattern. Slapped that in here, so now I got a 283, I got a T4 4-speed, and I got an AMC 15 rear end with 273 gears. I had a whole rolling chassis. So I started on the body. I started with the cowl. I got reproduction pieces here. I built the hood out of scrap 29 hood I found. I originally was thinking about running a 35 International pickup grill. I ended up going with a stock 29 grill. The doors, I didn't have doors, so I went and I built these doors out of flat stock with reproduction door skins. I just took two pieces of 1x2 or a 2-inch flat stock, welded up a frame, welded the skins right to it. And originally when I started this truck didn't have a top. I built it as a roadster pickup. So I lined the floor of the kitchen with rubber. I had a 220 volt welder plugged into the wall where the range went. And I started tacking the thing together. I tacked the whole body, the doors, the cowl, all the structure, the whole back of the cab and the floor and all that is built out of 1x2 rectangular steel tubing and 16 gauge steel. I tacked the whole body together. because it was a Roadster, I was able to turn the cab on its side and get it out the front door of the house. I blew the whole suspension apart, I blew everything apart, and I carried the whole thing outside piece by piece. I even put the engine together in the kitchen. I used a 55-gallon drum, cut in half as a pan. I hosed it all out, cleaned it, painted it, put the whole engine together in the kitchen on a stand. I rolled that out the front door into the yard. I had a canvas garage outside, and in the springtime, I started in the fall of 2005, so this would be in the spring of 2006. I assembled it outside in the canvas garage, put the drivetrain together, put the engine in. I used a 79 Ford F-150 6-cylinder radiator. I got that going. I wired the whole thing up, fired it up. I didn't have a box yet, and I had a temporary gas tank, but I got the whole thing running in the spring of 2006. I had new brakes. I had a Jeep Cherokee steering wheel, Jeep Cherokee master cylinder, new brakes on it here, Jeep and AMC brakes all the way around. And then I needed a box. At first I was going down the road and I saw a guy heading to the scrapyard, and he had a Chevy Advanced Design pickup box cut up and wadded up in the back of his truck. I chased him down. All I had on me was $6. He took it. I gave $6. I built this box. It was blue. It matched the blue paint that was on the cowl on here originally. And it was ugly. It was too big and I didn't like it. And I was kind of getting away from the ratty junk look and going more for like a hot rod look. So I ended up building my own box out of 16 gauge steel and build it. So I put that on. By the winter of 2006, I had the truck with the box running, driving in the yard. It was on the road, I think, in October and November 2006. You'll see there's like pictures here of it in the snow. So I get it on the road, I start driving it, I go to my buddy's house, I lay the windshield back, put some glass in it. I'm running as a Roadster pickup, and I had to store the thing outside, and I needed some kind of roof to hold the tarp up. So I made a little light 22 gauge sheet metal roof, framed in angle iron with a piece of wood, like laminate wood for the top, all screwed together with a plexiglass rear window, no door glass, nothing. And it held on to 4 set screws. So I put that on so I could put a tarp over the thing when it sat in the driveway in the rain and all that. So I ran it around for that from 2007, spring 2007 to 2009. So I got tired of running the Roadster look. The weather here is not that great all the time for Roadster action, so I had the top on most of the time. So what I did is I went and I welded the top right onto the truck. There's a seam down the side. I welded it on, and I put a sheet metal tin on it, roof on it. I peaked it to clear my head, and I flat blacked it. I painted the roof white. I added the door logos to the doors, which originally said Quick Speed Shop and Service. I didn't have the piston logo on here yet, and ran it flat black that way in 2009. I changed the tail lights, put a Model A tailgate on it, a couple other things, and ran it up to 2012. I had about 12,000 miles on it at that time. In 2012, I changed it up again a little bit. I got some Scotch-Brite, I scuffed the whole thing, and I shot it Rust-Oleum Hunter Green and turned the truck Hunter Green. That was in 2012. I ran it up to 2014. I had a lot of car projects going on at the time. I wanted to redo the suspension. By then it rode too rough in the back. I hated the suicide front end with the wheels raked way out in the front. I hated the look of that. It was too long in the front. So I blew the truck apart, put the chassis in my basement, put the engine on a stand, and I put the cab in the box on a shelf on the other side of the garage. And it sat that way for 4 years until I started building the Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck build series, which I've been doing the last year or so on the channel. There you go. The story on the Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck. Started out as a rat rod in 2005, turned into a beater hot rod, turned into a green color money hot rod truck, went and sat on a shelf. Now it's turned it into the Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck. So as always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for alerts. Tell your friends. And as always, we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop for more Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck action, other builds, tinkering, blasting down the road, whatever else is going on here at the Quick Speed Shop.